Okay, peeps, welcome back. So, the Grayscale trusts are at deep discounts. With that being said, let's get it. Okay, so as you guys can see on the right here, looking at all these Grayscale trusts, they got absolutely decimated today. Obviously, that's not good. If you guys are holding the Grayscale trusts, you want to see them go up, not down. But the markets have been a little bit shaky lately, so this is not really surprising. So not going to get too deep into it tonight because I'm actually quite tired, but let's go ahead and do this. So LTCN, as you guys can see, is still being held down below this trend line. We're getting stuck in between the trend line and support. This is pretty much the line in the sand right here, the support box. If it breaks down below that, it's probably likely going to go down to somewhere around 18, maybe as low as 16 or 1580, somewhere in there, but I don't really see it going lower than that. So as of right now, support is still going to be 24 to 26.50, somewhere in there. $54 is going to be the target. So if I just measure it from the current price to the previous swing high, it's 112%. Just show you guys again, because some people that are seeing this are new. They don't necessarily know what to look for. Those of you guys that have been here for a while, you know exactly what to look for. But this control bar here is going to be the first target, so that's pretty much where that wick is over on the right. Control bar on the left. The next target would be basically where these this candle wick and these body formations are here, so pretty much somewhere between $75 to $94. I'm just going to say 75, roughly about 75, because again, that's major psychological levels. Traders, they think in like typically round numbers, like 50, 20, 100, 75, 80, something like that. So 75, and then above that, we'd be looking at roughly about 100 to 135, which is that box up there. So I already measured the first target. Let's measure the second one. So to get to 75 would be a pretty nice move, almost 200%, and then up to the box or the resistance zone, 290% to as high as 423%. So it's much more now that the price has pulled back a little bit. It's possible that the price may also hold where it is right now, because you can see that's kind of where this basing formation is. And there's also some candles here as well. So pretty much where the price is, it could hold there. If it does not, likely it's probably going to come down to the trend line. So BCHG, similar story, kind of a line in the sand moment right here. MACD death cross. This candle does look like it wants to go a little bit lower than these ones. We'll see how the rest of the week plays out. But if it does actually close below these, we could very well be heading down to this previous support here, which is about $7.60 to $7. And obviously that's not a guarantee. It could just bounce straight off the EMAs. Again, there is the EMAs and the support here, but I just want to make you guys aware of the risk. So a move down to that zone could be as great as 36% from the current price to the swing high, which again, the swing high is up here at $24, is a 121% move. So HZEN, we got a rejection off of the resistance here. That's not really surprising, if I'm being honest. Usually it doesn't just snap straight through a level, unless Bitcoin's going absolutely ballistic, and then the Grayscale trusts that are linked to Bitcoin go ballistic, and then we see a falling off of the Bitcoin dominance, and the rest of these will probably just start moonshotting. In that case, it probably would just break straight through resistance like it was nothing. So pullback target here is going to be about $4.50. Again, we're looking for the swing high of 1050. If I just measure it from the current price to the swing high, the move is about 83%, and then from the trend line to the swing high up here is going to be roughly about 130% move. So ETCG, again, we're still waiting to see listings of the spot Ether ETFs, but as of right now, this trend line, the EMAs, and the support box or support zone are all holding as support very nicely. What I reiterated before is likely when the ETFs get listed, So pretty much the approval happened. There was a run up into it. The approval happened. There was a pullback, just like with the spot Bitcoin ETFs. And then when they actually get listed, start trading, then we'll see the next leg up is likely what I think is going to happen. So from the current price, the target I would be looking for is actually this wick right here. And that's roughly about $20. I think it's actually going to smash past that, to be honest, but that would be a 38% move. If it goes even higher than that, the next area would be up here, kind of right in this area, which is about $30. And again, that would be a 105% move. So ETH, you guys can see we have a cup and handle target, or cup and handle pattern here. So here's the cup, here's the handle. We had a breakout of the handle, so that confirms the cup and handle target, or not cup and handle target, cup and handle breakout. So the target would be all the way up here at this massive $163 level, which is kind of nuts. But if I were just to measure it from the current price to that high up there, you'd be looking at 368%. Do I think it can do that? Yes, I do. Absolutely. We've already seen what the spot Bitcoin ETFs can do. I think the spot Ether ETFs will have the same effect on these as well. Although do understand that once they get listed, likely ETH will get a conversion. I'm pretty sure of that. Again, we've never owned GBTC or ETH, so we don't know how these things work, but that's something you may have to take the time to figure out, or simply maybe consider getting out of your position and getting into something else before it does convert. Or maybe just like for me, for example, if I was worried about the conversion, what I would do is I would just sell out of this thing at a profit and go buy the actual Ethereum token is what I would do. Even though it is quite high right now, I would just simply buy it and add to it as it comes down. Of course, that's just my opinion. So again, our bear continuation trend, potential pattern here, or bull breakout pattern. Again, we need to see market structure change to enter into the bull zone, so get above these candles here. So from the current price of the swing high, we'd be looking at 177% move. If this thing does hit a bear trend, comes all the way back down to this trend line here, which is pretty far down. I mean, at this point, it's at $16. The move would be crazy insane. So nearly 2,500%. I don't think it's going to go that low, but all I'll say about it is likely if it does bounce, it's probably going to bounce somewhere around this zone. So I'd say like 36 to $40 is probably what you'd be looking at. So GBAT, we're still very much in a bull trend on this one. The question is this a higher low, and are we going to get a higher high up here at some point in the future? That's the question. As of right now, we don't know the answer to that question. So what I would say is that it got a break at the trend line and everything looks very bullish as far as I'm concerned. And we're above the EMAs, above support. We had this hammer candle here with this long wick to the downside, which obviously, as you guys can see, was a reversal indicator, kind of like this one here. I mean, it's just sitting nicely on the EMAs. It could just start pumping over the next few days. We'll just have to wait and see. But from the current price to the swing high, 102% move. Again, the swing high is at $33. The pullback target would be roughly about $10. That is a possibility. Just so you all know that that's actually normal in some cases for the price to pull back to the trend line and then bounce. That does happen. So that would be a 215% move. GLIV, very similar to GBAT, kind of just sitting nicely on the EMAs. So I don't know why these trend lines keep doing this, but sorry about that. So we got the breakout here, kind of coming back, retesting the EMAs, looking for a potential bounce. So from the current price to the high is 106% move. It doesn't look like that much because, again, the movement is quite small, but the percentage is actually pretty huge. So don't be deceived. Just because the chart makes the move look small does not mean it's small, because 106%, I can assure you, is not a small gain in the markets, not by any means. So pullback entry here would be roughly about $27.50 on the trend line. Swing high all the way up to the highs, about 194% move. So G-Link, this one's slowly moving up. You can kind of see this curling up reversal here. Got to break the trend lines, so that looks nice. It's sitting on the EMAs. From the current price to the swing high would be roughly about 70%. Pullback target could be as low as roughly about $90. If that happens and it gets a bounce, it would be about 146% move. So GSOL, this thing is not quite ready to break the highs yet, but it looks like it might be getting set up for it. Because again, we kind of have this really you guys can see like back here, it kind of got a bounce on these wicks. And then of course we're coming back to retest. Ideally it still respects it and starts taking off to the upside, but we'll have to see on that. So from the current price, which I would say probably is likely as far back as it's going to pull to the high, about 40% if I were to do a Fibonacci retracement, which at this point I will do, because if we get a break of the high, which it looks likely that it could happen if it bounces again for a third time on this trend line, it's probably going to go into price discovery. So the maximum target here would be a massive $1,890. All right, GXLM looks like, so we got a breakout retest. It does look like this is coming down below it. So I would say likely if it does actually close below it, probably looking to hit this bottom trend line here. So that's going to be about $31. Might have turned out to be a pump fake. I mean, that's possible, but if it comes back down to that and we're looking to ride it all the way up to the swing high, it's about 121% move versus the current price to the swing high is 70%. So Mana, this one's actually very similar to GBAT in my opinion. So got the breakout of the trend line, bounce off support, and kind of just retesting the EMAs. It's not perfect, picture perfect, but it does look quite similar. You can see this long wick to the downside and then kind of a push upwards, so to speak, and then just sitting on the EMA is very similar to GBAT right now. So from the current price to the swing high is about 140% move. If it gets a pullback, I'd say likely it's going to pull back probably to the top of the zone, so about $20. And then a run to the highs would be about 251% move. So Zcash, Zcash, it did look like it wanted to go up, but now it's retesting. So I'm not sure why all the Grayscale trusts are down today. I don't know if it was because of the markets or what's going on, but for some reason they're pulling back. So it could be as high as 510, could be as low as 430, anywhere in there. I'll just give you guys a measurement from the current price. So from the current price to the highs would be 93%. If I were to, let's say, measure it from the bottom of support all the way up to the highs, it would be a massive 140%. So as an added bonus, I'm going to go ahead and kind of skim through this real quick on GME and AMC with you guys. So I really got to scroll back here quite a bit to show you guys just how crazy this got in the previous cycle. So you guys can see that GME back here was at $120. Actually, I'm not even sure if that's actually the all-time high. I guess it is. But so we got a break of this trend line here, and this thing really ripped to the upside. You guys can kind of see a very similar situation here, where we kind of were getting held down below this trend line, and then it really sold off from here, but then it came back up and just wham, just absolutely smashed on the shorts here. And shorts just got their lives destroyed seemingly overnight. You can see something very similar playing out here. So I actually let me try to see if I can get this a little bit more perfect. So, well, I mean, it's not going to be exact because these wicks are kind of little ugly, but you guys can see that we got held down for a long time, and then from this point, wham, bulls just got absolutely smashed, and then bears just got destroyed seemingly overnight. So on X, Roaring Kitty posted the Uno green reversal card. I haven't looked into this myself, but it's been said that he has 180 million. You heard that correctly, $180 million in GameStop shares and long calls, which is basically buying calls. So yeah, on those news alone, you guys can see GME pumped up here. We're about to get a golden cross on the EMAs. We have a golden cross on the MACD. More importantly, though, I want to go out to the monthly time frame so you guys can see for the first time in a long time, we actually have a MACD golden cross and an RSI golden cross. Usually when we get a big wick like this is indicative of further moves to the upside. It did not quite break the previous all-time high, but I suspect I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that I suspect that the upcoming squeezes and moves higher on GME and AMC are going to be bigger than what happened in 2021, which you would think would likely not be the case because this was a QE bull market back here and this is a QT bull market. But I'm just going to go on a limb and say I think GME and AMC are going to hit all-time highs. When exactly, I don't know. But you guys can see very similarly here, we got this golden cross here, and then it just absolutely shredded to the upside. I mean, this thing went from, at the cross itself, it went from $4 all the way up to just an astounding $120. So you're talking a 30x on a stock. Okay, that's just absolutely bananas. And let me zoom out here a little bit so you guys can see this. So, like I said, in my opinion, we're in the pre-squeeze, short squeeze phase. Okay, we're not actually in the short squeeze phase yet, but we're getting warmed up to that phase. So here's the golden cross on the MACD. Okay, this thing was actually still dumping a little bit even after the golden cross happened, but you guys can see shortly after that happened, at some point in the near future, this thing absolutely shredded to the upside. So we just had the golden cross on the monthly time frame, and we're already starting to show some upside here. But the important thing is this monthly candle is above the EMAs, okay? That is the important thing. The wick is also indicative of much higher price action. You can see it happened here. So we got a wick. Guess what? Higher price action. A wick, higher price action, another wick, higher price action, and then, well, I mean, this was just a ridiculous candle. This thing did a 30x in a month, so probably wasn't likely going to go higher than that. AMC, similar story, although AMC is kind of lagging behind a little bit. So I wanted to point this out before so you guys can see that we were kind of getting beat down here by the shorts, and then this thing squeezed up, and then we had a golden cross here, and this thing just absolutely flew to the upside from $80 to $400. Pretty nuts, right? But the move actually really started in truth back here right around the time of this golden cross, okay? So the lows around the time of the golden cross was roughly about $12. That was pretty much almost exactly the low of that bear market low. And then we took off from that point to $400, did a 40x. You can see something very similar happening here on the RSI and the MACD. So RSI had golden cross. RSI is about to have another golden cross. MACD had a golden cross. And you guys can see now AMC is printing green on histogram for the first time on the monthly in what seems like probably 2.5 years at this point. And we're literally getting the golden cross right now. So in my opinion, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, in my opinion, I don't know how high the prices are going to go ultimately, but it would not surprise me, even with the reverse stock split or whatever it was on AMC, it would not surprise me in the least if GME hit, I would say probably somewhere between $400 to $500 a share, and AMC went up to $100 a share, or maybe even $200 a share. I'm not going to say that as a certainty. That's just my guess. But I am certain that GME is going to hit all-time highs. AMC hitting all-time highs, I don't know, but I think at the very least we're going to come up and fill these gaps, maybe even go higher than that. So anyways, this is the Grayscale Trust for the day. Hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.